Welcome to the 2018 Great Futures Luncheon. Now, just briefly, if I could get everyone's attention, I would like to call up our own Russ Adcox, who's going to deliver our invocation.
Thanks. Just a word of encouragement. I've been collecting cards from these kids. I know they've been handing them out to you as well. Pray for these guys, and that's what we're going to do right now. These are great. Take these cards with you and go home and pray for these kids. Let's do that right now. Father, I want to thank you for these young people. I want to thank you for this club, the people that work in this club, the people who support this club financially. But I want to pray for the futures of these young people. I can't pray for all of them, but I want to pray for these future doctors and teachers and veterinarians and pediatricians and NFL players and NBA players and Special Forces Army. And I mean, these cards are so full of dreams of who they want to become. And those dreams will happen. Those futures will happen because of the people that are sitting in this room right now, because of people that have given of their means financially to support this club, but even more importantly, those that have given of their time to invest in the life of these kids. So I'm thankful for that. We're thankful for our food that's been prepared for us today, and I just pray your blessings over this entire program this afternoon. It's in your Son's name we pray these things. Amen.
All right, again, thank you so much for being with us today at the 2018 Great Futures Luncheon. Now, friends, in an effort of time, we're going to go ahead and get this rolling. We have an exciting bill ahead of us. I was honored to be asked to MC this event today because I believe in the mission of this organization, enabling all of our young people in Murray County, regardless of where they come from or their circumstances, to reach their full potential and become productive citizens of this great community. I've been in education for about 15 years. Over the course of that 15 years, I've developed a reputation as the underdog's advocate. It's become my passion, my commitment, and ultimately it's become my life's work. When I think of an organization that embodies that mindset, that truly fights for the underdog, I cannot think of a better organization than the Boys and Girls Club, especially right here in Murray County, Tennessee. Thank you. Now, yesterday, I had that mindset. However, it was crystallized when I came to the rehearsal last night. And you're going to hear a young man speak a little later whose speech last night moved me to tears, hearing about this organization's impact on his life. So again, I'm honored to be your MC today. If you would bear with us, we are going to continue with the program because I believe, based on what I saw yesterday, you are going to love what you see. You're going to hear a lot of inspirational stories today. And by the end of today's program, I think it will be clear to all of us that the Boys and Girls Club truly is where great futures take flight. These kids have been transformed by the Boys and Girls Club as it helped them overcome the challenges they have faced in their young lives. The planes you see around this room are a very fitting symbol of why we are all here today. Your support makes all of it possible. You are helping these kids' dreams truly take flight. In fact, our club kids have decorated each of your placements at your table, and we would love for you to take those with you when you leave today as a keepsake and a reminder of the impact you are having on the lives of so many young people. It may not be an easy journey, but with your help and the support they receive at the Boys and Girls Club, these young people will reach their full potentials as productive, caring citizens of this community. Please go ahead and begin eating while we get started with our program. To kick us off, we're going to start with some entertainment by our own Team Center members. They're going to take us on a little journey around the world through an original dance they created. Please welcome our Teen Center dancers to the stage. That was awesome. Can we give him another big hand, please? All right, at this time, I'd like to ask our Boys and Girls Club CEO, Miss Robin Peary, to the stage to recognize our illustrious sponsors, please.
Thank you all so much for being here today and for helping our kids' great futures take flight. We want to give a special thanks to our sponsors for today's event. First off, I'd like to thank our host sponsor, Puckett's, who prepared all this delicious food today in this beautiful space. Thank you, Andy, and to your entire team for all the great work that you do for our kids. Please help me thank our silver sponsors, Heritage Bank and Trust and Reliant Bank. Let's give a big round of applause to our silver sponsors. We would also like to thank our gold sponsors, First Farmers Bank, Murray Regional Medical Center, and First Tennessee Bank. Thank you to our gold sponsors. I also want to give a shout out to our photographers, Ross Jaynes and Michelle Lamont, and our videographer back there, Quan McFall. Thank y'all for capturing all of this awesome stuff from our kids. And lastly, I would like to recognize some very special people who volunteered a great deal of time and effort to make today a reality. We have one of the best board of directors anywhere, and all of you who are board members know that they truly are a working board, as you can see, because they're all wearing their blue shirts and serving your food here today. Would the members of our 2018 Great Futures Luncheon Committee please stand or wave if you're already standing and be recognized? Russ Adcox, Felicia Brown, Dr. Chris Marzak, Missy Metter, and Julia West. Let's give them a big hand. And then lastly, I'd like to say an extra special thank you to this year's 2018 Great Futures Luncheon Committee Chair, who has truly gone above and beyond. She's been working nonstop on this event, and she's put her heart and soul into giving our kids this platform to share their stories today. Miss Terry Smith, back there in the back. Please give a big round of applause to Terry. All right, at this time, it is my pleasure to call up a special guest who's with us today. Chastity Mistel, the Senior Director of Advocacy for Boys and Girls Clubs of America, has joined us to make a special presentation.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much. We're so excited to have you here. Again, my name is Chastity Mitchell, and I'm with Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and I'm our Senior Director of Advocacy. So I actually live here in Middle Tennessee, so I get to see the wonderful things that the club is doing locally, but representing our national center, I get to hear about the great things that they're doing there as well. So each year, Boys and Girls Clubs of America recognizes one outstanding club per region that has the most growth in number of youth served and the impact on kids served as well. The Boys and Girls Club of Murray County was chartered in 1999. At that point, there was one club site serving about 150 kids a day for many years. I toured that site around about that time, so I remember exactly what that club site looked like. They added a second facility in 2013. However, with a long wait list and almost 12,000 kids here in Murray County that needed served, they knew that there was so much more to do. In 2016, the club staff and board were presented with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do just that. To become, this opportunity to become the official before and after school care provider program for the entire school district here. The club's winning academic case management program and 100% graduation rate laid the groundwork for this amazing partnership to come to fruition. So the Boys and Girls Club of Murray County's dedicated board voted to move forward on this massive expansion project at that time. It was approved by the school board, and the club had just 3 short months to scale up to this amazing opportunity. They opened 11 new school-based sites in August of 16, and I'm sure that they would tell you that quadrupling your organization in that small window was no small task. There were certainly some challenges along the way, but Boys and Girls Club of Maury County served 1,261 kids in 2017. That means, that's right. That means they've increased their membership by 200% in that short time. From 271 members in 16 to 810 today, the average daily attendance, those kids that they see most every day, by 232%, with 466 kids now attending their clubs on average of a day. This organization hasn't stopped there, though. By mid-2017, they took over operations of a struggling neighboring club in Giles County that had to shut down in May. They were able to get that club back up and running, reopen its doors, and serving kids by December, which is a great opportunity for those kids. The club's board and staff are committed to continuing to grow and meet the needs of the youth in this community with a goal of serving at least 1,000 kids within the next 5 years. They're continuing to grow and reach those goals. I'm here to tell you that each and every one of you should be so very proud of your club and its leadership. They are leaders in this movement both nationwide and here in Middle Tennessee, and they're truly making a difference in so many of the kids' lives that you've had the opportunity to meet today. So on behalf of Boys and Girls Clubs of America, it's my honor to present the Southeast Regional Gateway to Impact Award to the Boys and Girls Club of Maury County. That's right. May I ask Robin Peary and Board Chair Bernie Coble to come up and join me to receive this award.
Thank you very much, Chastity. It's an honor to receive this award from Boys and Girls Clubs of America. But really, this is all of your award. We couldn't do this without those of you in this room. So we are so grateful for you for supporting these kids and helping us to grow to serve more kids in our community. So now at this time, we're going to get back to our wonderful kids' performances. So I would like to introduce the members of our Woodard Greatness Academy, who will be performing Fly by Hillary Duff.
Each year, we give a new Board Member of the Year award to recognize a member with approximately 1 year of service on the board who's made a significant contribution towards advancing the mission during that time. It's my distinct honor to recognize this year's recipient, who has made a tremendous contribution to our organization since joining the board in January of 2017. This year's winner has over 25 years of experience in human resources and currently serves as the Chief Human Resources Officer for our award-winning local health system, Murray Regional Medical Center, overseeing 5 departments as a member of the senior leadership team. By now, I'm sure most of you know who I'm talking about, my friend, Miss Kay Brewer. Since joining the board, Kay quickly took on a leadership role, serving on our management committee, which oversees board and staff development and HR. After almost quadrupling the organization in 2016, there was a significant need to implement new HR policies and procedures and quickly increase organizational capacity in this area. We were fortunate to have Kay's significant expertise on the team as the management committee completely revamped all of our employee policies, producing a comprehensive new employee handbook in 2017. In 2018, Kay stepped up to chair the management committee and is currently overseeing efforts to develop new performance appraisal systems and more competitive compensation packages to help ensure the club can continue to attract and retain high-quality professional staff to serve our kids. Kay is also a member of the executive committee. She's serving as chair-elect and will be chair next year. She's actively involved in board leadership as she prepares to lead this organization in 2019. Kay's a true servant leader. She never hesitates to volunteer for any club need, from selling tickets to events to volunteering to serve here today. Her countless hours of hard work and dedication to our youth and our mission have significantly increased the impact of our organization. And I know the club will thrive and continue to reach even more youth under her leadership in 2019. Without further ado, Kay, please come on up here and accept the award as the new Board Member of the Year.
Well, I just told Robin she's very sneaky and keeps a great secret. But I do want to say that this last year has truly been a very fulfilling year. It is such an honor to serve with every board member that dedicates their time and talents and attention to the Boys and Girls Club. It's truly an honor to serve with them. It has been a great pleasure. I also want to echo what's already been said about Robin and her staff. They pour into these children day in, day out, and they are absolutely just exemplary models for the citizens, for these children. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this club. And as much as I'm thankful for this recognition, today really is about the children. And so if today's your first event with the Boys or Girls Club, or if you're not familiar with the curriculum and the programs that are provided to our kids, I would highly recommend that you go to the club, take a tour, learn about all the great things that they do for the children. I think you'll come away being very impressed and want to give back of your time and resources to our future and these children. Thanks so much for being here today and for giving back to the Boys and Girls Club. Thank you.
It's a special honor and privilege for me to recognize our Don and Eva James Crichton Philanthropist of the Year. This year's recipient was raised in East Tennessee and attended the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, where he earned his bachelor's and master's degree in animal science. He worked for Tennessee Farm Bureau for 41 years, most recently as the role of Chief Administrative Officer, and called everyone there his family. From an early age, I can remember being encouraged and cheered on by him at Cook Soccer Park, where his girls and I played youth sports together. After moving back to Columbia Many years ago, as a single mom with a teenage son, I can remember a special meal day shift that I worked at Murray County Park with this person, with my son. He shared stories with my son about his school and his plans for the future. I can't remember a time that I spoke to or interacted with him that he didn't ask me about my family and either begin the conversation or end the conversation with a hug. This person passionately served children in our community in a number of organizations. He was first a Christian, which was evident by the way he loved and gave of his time to those around him. His motto was faith, family, and Farm Bureau. I'm sure most everybody knows who I'm talking about. He was an active Kiwanian, Boy Scout supporter, and Boys and Girls Club board member. He gave countless hours to serve the kids at the Boys and Girls Club and shared his passion with his wife and friends. I know that there were many more young professionals that he encouraged and mentored along the way, but I'm proud to say that I am one. By now, I'm sure that you all know who I'm talking about, Mr. Joe Pearson. Joe joined our board in 2015 and was a very active board member. He always volunteered and was willing to jump in wherever we needed him. It's for his service that we have chosen to honor Joe Pearson, who went to his eternal home last August. If I can ask Don and Eva Jaynes Crichton to join me on stage to help with this presentation. And Terry, if you want to make your way too. Great pleasure that we give this award to his wife and best friend of 47 years, Terry Pearson.
It's true that Joe served on many different boards, but this was the one that was the closest to his heart. So thank you so much.
I'll call Dr. Jackson back to the stage.
Friends, we are now going to kick off the story portion of our program. And at this time, I'm going to ask that the Boys and Girls Club Program Director, Miss Caliente Conway, to come to the stage to introduce our Passport to Manhood program. Miss Conway, please come up.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody looks so beautiful. It's so good to see you guys. On behalf of Spring Hill Sites of the Boys and Girls Club of Murray County, I myself and my staff would like to thank you for all the hours that you've put in with volunteering, the well wishes, the donation. It truly makes us a Greatness Academy. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. Now, what we're going to do at this time is tell you just exactly what Passport to Manhood is all about.
Hello, my name is Lawson Russell, and I go to Marvin Wright Elementary. Passport to Manhood engages young boys in discussions and activities that reinforce character, leadership, and positive behavior. Each participant receives a passport to represent his personal journey of growth. The program sessions use fun activities to focus on a specific aspect of character and manhood. It includes a service project where boys learn the importance of giving back to the community. Thank you.
You added the thank you. You added the thank you.
Thank you, Lawson. The future is coming and opportunities are limitless. It's never too early to plan and learn the steps you need to accomplish your goal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Latavius Lee from Spring Hill Middle to let you know just what his future looks like.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have been with the club ever since kindergarten. Good afternoon. I have been with the club ever since kindergarten.
He could be at home hanging out, but
the better choice was to be involved in something positive. You can't conquer the world standing still.
During the sessions of Passport to Manhood at Spring Hill Middle School, the guys talked about
plans, goals, future plans, and guy stuff.
Latavius has dreams to be an NBA star, but first things first.
A good education. Work towards being a business owner or even an engineer.
The guys are always encouraged to work hard, be successful, and our goal is to do our part so they can grow to be successful young men.
Future so bright, I gotta wear shades.
Life always has bumps in the road. We often get discouraged, but there are those moments when you have to conquer and keep going. Young men need to know that against all odds, you can make it. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Lane Baker from Marvin Wright Elementary School.
I have been challenged with obstacles that I thought I would never make it through.
Growing up in a risky home environment definitely didn't make it any easier on him or his sister.
But thank God for my Nana. She is our lifesaver, but I still need a male role model to look up to. Passport to Manhood has taught me how to become a young man and a great help to my Nana.
In the program, Matthew has learned to
think before I act and understand that every choice has a consequence.
See, in the beginning, all odds were against him, but not anymore.
Passport to Manhood is my passport to success.
Yes, yes. Give him a hand, y'all. Woo! This is so great. I get so excited. Okay, now I would like to call up our board member pastor, Russ Adcox, to continue sharing our kids' stories. And thank you so much from Spring Hill.
Thank you so much. All right, I think you're starting to get to see just a little bit of the picture of the impact this club has made on the kids in Murray County and the incredible growth that's happened as this club's gone from 150 kids to over 1,200 kids in Murray County. What you may not know is we're now not just serving kids in Murray County, we're also serving kids in Giles County because last year this club became a regional organization. The Pulaski Club was shut down in May, and our board worked very hard, staff worked very hard to get it reopened last year, and now that board is serving that club is serving kids in Giles County. The building was in bad need of repairs and upgrades, and we were blessed by the Boys and Girls Club of America, a visit from the president, Jim Clark, for Martin Luther King Service Day, and a grant was given to make the much-needed repairs. So our Pulaski kids couldn't be with us today, but they wanted to say thank you for giving them their club back. So they've got a little video message for you if you watch this. I think you're starting to notice one thing. There's not a lot of shy kids that come through the club. That's intentional. It's because they've got somebody investing in them. They've got somebody that believes in them. They've got somebody that supports them. Somebody that's there to help them with their homework, kind of help them get through the things that they need to get through. And that's because of your support. That's because you donate money to the club. That turns around, allows us to hire staff, and allows us to create these types of clubs that are providing homework help, physical fitness, healthy snacks, character education, cooking classes, tutoring, gang and violence prevention, drug and alcohol avoidance training, and so much more. What you do is you give kids a place to become whatever they dream of becoming. You give them a place to become so much more than they would be without it. As you heard in the video, they don't have to go home after school where it's boring. And the reason she said it's boring is because a lot of times there's nobody else at home. So they don't go home by themselves to an empty house. They open the doors to a club that gives them a place to become the best versions of themselves, a safe, positive environment, a place where they can make friends, caring adults that are going to help them learn. And basically what happens is you stand in the gap for kids so that they don't slip through the cracks. We want to share just a few more of those stories with you of the lives that you've impacted through the Boys and Girls Club, and I got some folks that are going to help me out with this. So Nazir, come on up. This is Nazir's story. My name is Nazir, and I'm a third grader at Wayne Street. I've been a club member for 2 years now. Before, I was struggling in almost all of my classes. Some of my grades were failing. And then my tutor, Brianna, at the club helped me bring my grades up. Now I'm passing all my grades with mostly A's and B's. Even my teachers have noticed a difference. My mom says my attitude is better. I'm less shy. And the club encourages me to reach my goals. I want to be a police officer one day. Thanks to the club, I'm doing, yeah. Thanks to the club, I'm doing better in school. I'm proud of myself, and I couldn't have done it without the club.
Thanks for giving me a place to be a better student.
All right, Officer Nazir right there. This is Brady and Caden's story. My name is Brady. This is my brother Caden. The Boys and Girls Club means a lot to us because not only did we find a good place to come after school, but we also found positive male role models that we look up to. Our mom is awesome. She works at a full-time job, takes care of us all by herself. She shows us what it means to be a loving, honest, hardworking adult, but sometimes she just can't relate to what we go through as young boys. My brother and I would get into trouble at school, sometimes for fighting or being disrespectful to adults. And then our mom signed us up for the Boys and Girls Club. At the club, we met Mr. Austin, who was really cool, and we were having a good day. He always praises us. And we were not having a good day, he'd sit down with us and ask us what's wrong. He always tries to cheer us up. He teaches us the passport to manhood and what we need to know as we grow into young men, such as controlling our temper and showing positive leadership with our peers. Mr. Austin's in college to become a lawyer to help people who are in trouble. My brother and I want to help people too. I want to be a police officer. Which one's that, Brady? I want to be a police officer, and my brother wants to be a firefighter. Thanks to Mr. Austin, we know that we can help people just like the Boys and Girls Club helped us.
Thanks for giving us a place to become young men.
All right. This is Derek and Jabron's story. Jabron's the young man with the sign. My name's Derek Walker, to his right here. I've worked for the club since I was in high school. I've always had an uncle, a cousin, or an older male to help me out. So when I was given the opportunity to work with work with kids, I jumped on it. I didn't want the money. I just wanted to give back to the kids and to my community. I attend kids' basketball games, baseball games, school activities, so that those kids who don't have a father figure or a male role model see that I care about them and that I'm their number one fan. One of those kids is Jabron. Go ahead and turn around, Jabron. Jabron is being raised by his mother and his grandmother, so he doesn't have a male role model at home. Jabron struggles with his behavior, and he was getting in trouble at school for acting out. His mom told us that Jabron needed some positive male role models in his life, and now staff members like myself, Mr. Kenny, Mr. Pierre, standing just on the other side of him, make a point to spend one-on-one time with Jabron. Mr. Pierre especially made a difference for Jabron, and we can all see a change in him. He's more confident, he feels better about himself, and now he wants to make friends instead of playing alone. His mom appreciates the positive influence that we're having on her son, and she feels like her family, she said he feels like her family belongs and that we really care about her child. Derek?
Thanks for giving me a positive place to be a role model to kids just like Jabron.
And this is Jonathan's story, and I'm going to let him tell it himself.
How y'all doing this morning? I'm going to go ahead and tell you my story. My name is Jonathan, but most people call me Johnny. I first came to the club back in 2006. My mom started working for the club a few years later. My home life during this time wasn't so easy. You see, my father was sick, very sick. Sometimes I would go home at night and think that my dad wouldn't wake up to see the next morning. My dad couldn't work, so my mom had to pick up several jobs to support me and my family. This changed my family dynamic forever. The relationship between me and my father started to deteriorate after bad decisions and his infidelity, thus leading to my parents' divorce. Luckily, I always had the club to come back to. The club was a safe place, a safe haven, and my sanctuary. Without the club, I'd probably be wandering the streets of Columbia doing God knows what, but thank God for the club. I'm also very thankful for programs like Passport to Manhood to show and nurture young men into being honorable and men of integrity. The club has given me the tools and the opportunities to further my career as I want to dive into audio engineering. Staff that led programs such as these were people like Jonathan Braden and Derek Walker in my tween years. Thank you for giving me a place to be a man of integrity.
That's just a few of the stories of the lives that you've impacted through the club. Like I said, over 1,200 kids came through this club last year. And with your support, we can serve even more kids. I just looked up some stats on poverty in our county. And there's over 4,000 kids in Murray County live below the poverty line. It's over a fourth of the kids in our county. And we will not rest until we're serving every kid who needs us. It's our goal to serve our goal to serve 1,000 at-risk kids per day. That's what our goal is. And when you support the club, you're helping us get closer to that goal. And I want to introduce to you the Wayne Street and Teen Center Choir for their performance of Hang On. Give them a round of applause.
Turbulence is the price you pay for flying high. So whenever you're flying high, you're going to have some bumpy areas. That's why I want to admonish you to don't give up, but hang in there.
You gotta, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta. Hang on in there, hang on. In there. Hang on.
When I came to rehearsal last night, one of our club members from Mount Pleasant Elementary School, his name's Caden, that group was about to go on, and Caden tugged at my jacket, and he said, I like this one. And hey, Caden, you were right, man. I like that one too. You know, how amazing with that. Can we give him one more round of applause, though, please? And now it is my sincere pleasure to introduce this year's guest speaker, the one and only Mr. Chris Sanders. Just a little bit about Mr. Sanders before he takes the stage. You know, Chris Sanders is a businessman. He's a community activist, a world-class athlete. A world-class athlete. You know, he's still got that Jesse Owens record. Don't let his humbleness fool you. He is a man of passion and compassion. Chris played in Super Bowl 2000, broke Jesse Owens' long jump record at Ohio State University, and made all-rookie team in the NFL in 1995. He played in the NFL for 7 years for the Houston Oilers and then the Tennessee Titans, completing 177 career receptions for 3,285 total yards. However, Chris believes his greatest achievements have come off the field, coaching young men and speaking to young adults through motivational assemblies across the United States. In 2005, he began his coaching career, and he currently coaches varsity football and track at Montgomery Bell Academy here in Nashville. Chris has been noted for the philanthropic spirit as evidenced through his charity work. For over 10 years, he has been actively involved with various youth programs. In addition, he formed the Chris Sanders Foundation to help move displaced families out of shelters and into homes. Football camps and golf tournaments are also mainstays of the foundation serving underprivileged children. Please join me in welcoming Chris Sanders to the stage.
How's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right? Come on, man. Y'all got to give me some more energy than that. Y'all doing all right? Yeah. Well, this is probably the calmest you're probably going to see me because when I speak, I just get excited. Because when you're passionate about something, you're going to give everything you got. You know, when I played for the Tennessee Titans, you know, the people that were excited about us, they would dress up in blue and green and whatever. Not green, but blue and white because they were a fanatic. So when I get a chance to reach youth, I'm a wild man. I'm a wild man. The reason why I'm a wild man is because I was one of those kids that didn't have any purpose, that didn't have any destiny. But the good thing about it is that somebody spoke into my life, and now I can change the world. But before I kind of get into my message, you know, I was just kind of praying before I got here about what God wanted me to speak about. And before I do that, I just want to take the time out to acknowledge the Boys and Girls Club, the people that work with the Boys and Girls Clubs. I wanted you to give them a round of applause. You know, I'm trying to contain myself, but you know, a lot of times we look at athletes and entertainers as heroes, We look at Mariota as a hero. We look at myself as a hero. We look at Eddie George as a hero. We look at Javon Curse as a hero. But I want to tell you, the people that is in this room, they're the heroes. And the reason why I say they're the heroes is because all we can do is make you cheer. They're saving lives. And that's the reason why I take my hat off to the Boys and Girls Club, the people that are working with. So when I was on my way over here, it's just kind of funny how God does things. My message just changed a little bit. And as I was sitting there and I was kind of quiet, I was kind of containing myself. But I want to read you this song that I love listening to. My kids love this song. It goes with this. It goes like this. I'm not going to sing it. I don't sound like Lou Rawls or, somebody like that, but I'm not going to sing it. It goes like this. It's a song by Music Soul Child. And this is for everybody. And I know we're talking about manhood today, and I'll get into that in a second. But I want you to listen to the lyrics of this song. I'm not going to sing, so just bear with me. It says, hey, y'all, don't you ever let no one tell you to grow up and give up on your dreams. It says, hey, y'all, ain't nothing worse than to let someone tell you to grow up and give up on your dreams. The reason why I use that song is because I was a little kid at their age, and I had a dream. I had a dream to play in the NFL, and everybody was telling me what I could and what I could not do. But the good thing about it is I had somebody to speak into my life and say, you know what, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter if you can't read. I was a kid in the second grade that couldn't even read. I was a kid that I was getting ready to go to college, and I took the ACT score, and I got an 11 on my ACT. So now I'm looking at my situation. I told you I was going to get loud. But I'm looking at my situation, but here's a little kid who has a dream. But it was somebody that took the time out and said, you know what, regardless of what you've been through, the good thing about it is you hold on to that dream. So whatever you're going through, don't look at where you come from. Don't look at your home situation, but just remember to hold on to your dream. Say, anybody know the difference between fact and truth? Anybody know the difference? The difference between fact and truth, the fact is your situation is like that. But the truth is, it can change. So the thing about it is, the fact was that I couldn't read. But the truth is, I graduated from The Ohio State University. Hey, come on. Come on. Hey, can I just get real for a second? See, the thing about it is, the reason why I'm so excited is because I was a kid that had a disadvantage. I couldn't read. I had my parents split up. I didn't have any food on the table. But the good thing about it is, I was a kid that was 2 years old that had a dream. And the reason why I'm excited now is because I see the future leaders in this room. Come on. Y'all might have got the wrong speaker today. Because the thing about it is, society always talking about the generation that's coming up, that they have no respect. They don't listen to their parents. They're uncoachable. They say all these things. But when I walked in this room, all I saw was greatness. I see kids coming up to me with cars. I see kids look at me in the eye saying, how you doing, sir? God, y'all don't get excited about that? The reason why I'm excited about that is because we got a whole generation that don't believe that they can walk in greatness. They don't believe they can walk in greatness. But I remember when I was playing with the Tennessee Titans. Can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me all right? Dang gummit. I remember when I was playing for the Tennessee Titans. And we were playing the New York Giants. And if there's some New York Giants fans in here, I'm going to call security. So we were playing the New York Giants. And I was sitting on the sidelines. I think the Giants just scored. And it looked like we were going to lose. And as I was sitting on the sidelines, I'll never forget how I felt. I felt hopeless. It didn't look like we were going to win. But there was still 16 seconds left on the clock. And when that situation happened, and Kevin, they gave it to Lorenzo Neal, who couldn't catch. I mean, he couldn't catch a cold. This is terrible. Then they give it to Frank Wycheck, who couldn't throw a ball from me to you. I mean, it was terrible. Then they give it to Kevin Dyson, who's not even supposed to be in the game. All that situation happened because we had 16 seconds left on the clock. See, now we had a whole bunch of students that were sitting on the sidelines of hopelessness, but there was still 16 seconds left on the clock. So now they go from hopelessness to greatness. They go from greatness to world changers. Why? It's because they were on the sidelines of hopelessness, but there was still time on the clock. I don't know about y'all, but that's some good word right there. So let me get, that wasn't even my message. So I'm going to get into my message, and then I'm going to get off stage because I'm going to go home and watch Judge Judy. That's my favorite show. She's cute too, boy. She's kind of fine. I'm just kidding. I'm really kidding. You know, when we talk about manhood, you know, we always say these words, what does a man look like? Are you a man because you play football, you play sports? What does a man look like? And I just got to praying and say, Lord, what do you want me to say? The number one point is he knows his identity. You know, I remember I did a speaking engagement. I think it was about a celebrity speaking engagement maybe about 3 years ago. And there was a guy who walked in, and as he walked in, I thought I knew his name. He walked by, and I was calling him Daryl. And I'm screaming across the room. I'm like, Daryl. So I walked up to him. I'm like, man, why didn't you respond to what I said? He looked at me with a crazy look. He said, because that ain't my name. But see, here's this. We got the world that's yelling at our youth, that's yelling at our man. They're saying, oh, you're a thug, you're this, you're that, you'll never make it, your situation looks bad. The reason why you don't respond is because that's not your name. So now if you want to call me world changer, if you want to call me a great man, if you want to call me a great leader, I'm going to respond because why? That's my name. See, it's all about identity. See, just because I play football, just because I look swole and I look kind of big, doesn't classify me as a man. A man knows his identity. So now I'm going to step on some toes. I'm not going to respond to what MTV says I am. I'm not going to respond to what BET says I am. I'm not going to respond to what the world says. I'm going to respond to what I say. My identity is this. I'm walking in greatness, and I'm only going to respond to greatness. If you call me something different, the reason why I'm not going to respond, why? Because that's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. Second thing. No, before I go, I'm gonna share this too. Anybody watch that cartoon Popeye? Come on now, you gotta talk to me. That's my favorite cartoon. But it's funny because I was sitting there watching it with my little girl maybe about 8 years ago. And as I was watching it, I'm sitting there basically falling asleep. I'm like, girl, go and watch it. Go ahead and watch it. You go and do what you need to do. But as I was watching it, everybody knows Popeye was a sailor, right? And he was a sailor, and he walked onto the island. And when he walked onto the island, nobody liked the sailor. So what they did, they shut the doors, and they was calling them names. But as he was going onto the island, he would sing a song. He would say, I am that I am. I'm Popeye the sailor. And the reason why he said that when everybody was dogging him, when everybody was saying he can't make it, he was singing this song to remind them who he was. So now you're going to be walking in life, and all these people are going to say, you can't make it. Sometimes you got to sing your own song. I am that I am. I am called to walk in greatness. I am going to be that NBA player. I am going to be that football player. I am going to be that teacher. Why? Because I know my identity. My second point is you got to get up when you get knocked down. You're going to get knocked down. But you know what? A man gets up. And my second favorite movie is Rocky. They have like 27 of them, but Rocky's my favorite one. He says this quote. He says this. He says, you, me, or nobody hits hard in life. But it ain't how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit. You keep moving. That's how winning is done. See, the thing about it is, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about if you can get hit, you get up and you keep moving. You know, I remember I was watching Rocky 3. And in Rocky 3, Rocky got knocked down 3 times. And as he got knocked down on that 3rd time, he turned back to Mr. T that had the mohawk. He said these words. He says, I'm not going down anymore. And when you're walking in your manhood, you got to have that kind of attitude. It's when you get knocked down, you say, you know what? I'm not going down anymore. Yeah, my situation looks bad, but I'm not going down anymore. Yeah, I may not pass the ACT, but I'm not going down anymore. The reason why I'm not going down anymore is because I have a dream. You know, I was saying this quote, I was saying it to myself, if I would have quit. You know what I would have quit? I would have missed out on absolutely everything. I would have missed out on having the longest jump in the history of Colorado. I would have missed out on breaking Jesse Owens' long jump record. I would have missed out by playing in the Super Bowl. Why? Because I had to get up. Even though I didn't want to, I had to get up. But the good thing about it is I had people in my life to pick me up. You know, I remember we were playing the New York Giants again. I don't even like that team. But we were in the huddle. It was me, Steve McNair, Eddie George. It was all of us in the huddle. And they called to play to Eddie George. And I'm upset because I want to get the ball. I want to be on ESPN. So I was so mad that I ran out and told the defensive back that Eddie George was getting the ball. And that's how mad I was. I said, Eddie's getting the ball. He looked at me like, for real? I'm like, yeah, he's getting the ball. So I'm blocking this guy, and here comes 27. I like, come on, man, go run the other way. So he's running towards me, and he knocks me out, and I'm laying on the ground. My mouth guard's in the stand. Somebody has it. My shoulder pads is turned to the side. But I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this. It's big old Eddie George. You know how big Eddie George is. Big old head and big old body and a little bitty head. Just a big old guy. I'll never forget this. He picked me up, and he got me some Gatorade, and he got me right back in the game. But see, that's the kind of people that you need in your life, is when you get knocked down, the Boys and Girls Club is going to pick you up. I threw a little shot at y'all. Pick you up, get you what you need, and you get right back in the game. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That is it. That is it. The reason why I'm passionate about what I do is because I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. I'm like, this is too hard. They said I had ADD. They said I couldn't graduate from The Ohio State University. They said I couldn't do all these things. That's why I'm passionate about our youth, because our youth has a dream. See, we get excited about all this other stuff, but we got our youth dying. But the one thing, when I walked in this room, all I felt was greatness. Knock down and get up. Last point, and I'm going to sit down because Judge Judy's waiting for me. Number 3, it's my last point, and I'm going to sit down. Whew. You got to face your fears. I remember when I was in high school, I weighed 110 pounds. Golly, that's little. 110 pounds as a freshman. And then my senior year, I weighed 140. And I was wrestling. I was in a wrestling match. I actually wrestled. And in the meet, it was this big old guy that everybody was afraid to wrestle. So we're going through the weigh-in, and this big old guy standing there, and everybody's praying, please, don't let me wrestle this guy. And all of a sudden, they say 160-pound, get on the scale, and the dude gets on the scale. I'm like, oh, my gosh. And as I sit there, I'm like, say, oh, my gosh. I'm like, what am I going to do? So now we're in the regional match, and I have to wrestle this guy to go to state. And I'm sitting there as a senior, weighing 140 pounds, going against a 160-pound guy, and I said these words. I said, if I'm going to be successful, I got to face my fears. And a little kid weighing 140 pounds walks on the mat, and I looked at him. I said, big dog, I'm not going down today, boss. So now when you're facing depression, you got to look at your depression and say, I'm not going down, boss. When the world says that you can't make it, excuse me, I'm going to get my dreams. Get out of my way, boss. But you got to face your fears. You got to face it. Number one, you got to know your identity. You got to get up when you fall, and you got to face your fears. That's how a man is built. That's how a man withstands the test of time. See, it's not about being a strong physical football player. It's about knowing who you are. It's about getting up when you fall. And it's about facing your fears. I was afraid to go to college. I was afraid to play football. I was afraid to take my ACT. I was afraid to speak in class. I was afraid that people were going to laugh at me because I had the latest clothes. I was afraid of all the stuff that was going on. But just like that wrestling match, I had to face my fears. I had to face my fears. So now when situations scream, when situations are going in my life, the reason why I can stand as a man is because I'm built like a man. So the same thing with the men in here that are growing up in the Boys and Girls Club. You stand strong and know that you're destined for greatness. It's not about how big you are. It's not about how strong you are. It's about knowing who you are. And when you know who you are, you can change the world. How can a knucklehead from Colorado that got an 11 on his ACT, you get 5 points for just writing your name, so I basically got 6 points. So basically, I got a 6. Here's a guy who weighed 110 pounds his freshman year. Now, all of a sudden, have the longest jump in the history of Ohio State. See, the thing about it is, I don't want to be around no people that don't want to dream. I don't want to be around people that want to complain. I don't want to be around people that say, oh, I've heard all that stuff before, I ain't got time for that. I want to stand with men that want to change the world. So now, when I pass away, my son steps in and say, you know what, Dad, I know I assumed the position. Why? Because you put manhood in me. You know, I told my son, and I'm gonna cut it, I'm gonna shut it down. But I told my son when I was holding him when he was 2 years old, I said, son, you're destined for greatness. You're not gonna have to go through what I went through. And he's looking at me like, what are you talking about? But see, he started to hear those words. And let me tell you, I'm not bragging on myself, but I'm gonna tell you what he did. He's at Notre Dame, about to graduate in 3 years in finances. And on top of that, thank you. And on top of that, this knucklehead played in a movie. He played in a Ray Charles movie. So you're talking about dreams coming true? So no, it goes back to where it started, about leaving a legacy, about manhood. ACT, bad haircut, small kid with a big dream. So what I'm telling everybody in this room, the kids, the girls and the ladies, I mean, that don't make sense, the guys and the girls, is whatever you set your mind to, don't let nobody ever tell you that you can't do what you dream about. I remember, and I'm going to close. I remember, you know, preachers always say, I'm going to close in 5 minutes. It'll be like 30 years. One more minute and I'm done. But I remember I was watching TV, and these two, it was a bulldog right here, and it was another bulldog. And one of the bulldogs was locked onto this ball. And when he was locked into the ball, he was holding onto it so tight that somebody had to get a stick and try to break his jaw, but they couldn't break his jaw because he was holding onto it so tight. And the reason why I share that illustration is that's how hard you got to hold onto your dream. The world is going to try to break you down. But just like that dog, you hold onto it tight, and then don't let nobody break it. Why? Because you got a dream. Thank you.
Mr. Sanders, I can get a little competitive, man. After that, you got me ready to take off my coat and give a speech myself. Thank you, man. That's not my name. That is hot. That is a very hot line. Thank you for that message. Another round of applause for Mr. Sanders, please. You know, the Boys and Girls Club has done something pretty cool today, and I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the synergy. Just heard an uplifting message from Chris Sanders, you know, about what the end of that journey can look like. And what you're about to hear now from one of our club students, a student that I respect, a student that I know personally, what you're about to hear now is what that journey looks like when you're in the moment. I had a chance to get a snippet of this speech yesterday at rehearsal, and I was literally moved to tears. So at this time, I would like to call up the Boys and Girls Club Murray County Youth of the Year, Mr. Isaiah Bullock, to come to the stage and share his story with us.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. Thank you. And my granddad and my mom. Without them, I wouldn't be here. I want you all to know that I love you. Because without you, it wouldn't be me. Without you, it wouldn't be kids. So thank you. Nathaniel Hawthorne once said, "Time flies over us, but leaves its shadows behind." Sometimes we have to live in the shadows created by our parents' choices. That was almost my story. You see, I have no father figure, but I have features of my father. His smile, his cheekbones, his frown. His face is my face. Everywhere I go, people ask me if I'm Chief's son. My shadow is filled with my father's choices, but I try not to let that define who I am. He sells drugs. I sell tacos at the local Taco John's to provide for my family. He abandoned his children. I'm helping raise my siblings. Did you know that according to the National Center for Fathering, 20 million children are without their father? I'm a part of that 20 million. I'll never forget. Last September, I was preparing to get my driver's permit. I remember standing in the dining room with my mom and her handing me my paperwork. I looked down at the copy of my birth certificate and I saw right there above the line for father's signature was a blank. He never even signed my birth certificate. It hurt. It still does. His shadow was still following me until I walked through the doors of my Boys and Girls Club. That was the day I finally left that shadow behind. I was first introduced to the club my sophomore year. I remember Mr. Chauncey rambling on and on and on about all the new experiences I would have. To be honest, I thought he was full of it. My trust issues wouldn't let me believe him, but I quickly learned I was wrong. The club was a place where I could finally be a kid for a change. It was such a relief to have someone to talk to, because all my life people have been telling me I'd end up just like my father. Like father, like son, right? No. Passport to Manhood taught me to never let my father's mistakes be an excuse, to let my actions be louder than their words. The club gave me a reason to care about my grades for the first time in my life. In Keystone, I found my purpose, helping and encouraging others. In Career Launch, the staff helped me find my dream, helping others by becoming a psychologist. Thanks to my club, I'll be in college this fall. Working towards that dream. Above all, the club has shown me that even though I don't have a father in my life, I am not fatherless. Mr. Chauncey has believed in me and encouraged me when so many others didn't. He has shown me what it truly means to be a man and a father. Thanks to God, Mr. Chauncey, and my club, I've went from living in the shadows to being a light for others. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Isaiah, for sharing your story. I don't think I could have done that at your age. And thank you to all the young people who've been brave enough to share their stories with us today. Let's give them one more round of applause. You know, I've been working with Isaiah for months on his Youth of the Year presentation, and his words still move me every time I hear them. You're an inspiration, Isaiah, and a role model for your peers, and we're so incredibly proud of you. In fact, at this time, we actually have a little surprise for you and our Youth of the Year runner-up this year, who you heard from earlier, Jonathan Mosteller. So I'm going to need you two gentlemen to come back up on stage here and join me. And I'm also going to need some help from some friends for this one. So I'm going to ask John Mayer of John Mayer Builders and Eric Nichols of the My Town Mondays organizations to join us on stage as well. So Mr. Mayer called me a few weeks ago after following Isaiah's Youth of the Year journey to the state competition. And he told me how impressed he was with you, Isaiah, your integrity, your leadership, and your passion for serving others. He also shared with me how he'd been so moved each and every year by our Youth of the Years who stood on this stage and shared their story year after year at this event, and that he wanted to do something special for you to recognize all your hard work and help you achieve your dreams. So we have a little surprise for you. Mr. Mayer and his team at John Mayer Builders are here to present you with a $5,000 scholarship to your college of choice. Congratulations, Isaiah. Jonathan, we also have a little surprise for you as well. You have been such an exemplary leader in our teen center, always setting a great example for others, and you were such a support for Isaiah when you accompanied him to Nashville for the competition. You cheered him on and encouraged him and demonstrated true selflessness and integrity in the way you carried yourself, and we are so very proud of you. You may have heard that Pastor Eric Nichols and the My Town Mondays organization has been selling t-shirts and merchandise to create a scholarship fund for the Boys and Girls Club. So today we are excited to present our very first scholarship from that fund to you, Jonathan, in the amount of $1,000 to the college of your choice. Mr. Mayer, Pastor Nichols, thank you so much for supporting these amazing young people and giving them a great start to their dreams. We appreciate you. And now, would Pastor Russ Adcox please join us on stage to close out our afternoon?
Thank you, Rob. I have the absolutely easiest job of the day. Ask you to give money to this great organization. And I say it's easy because we want to produce more young men like this and more young men and young women that have handed us their business card and looked us in the eye and shook our hands and told us what their future looks like. Before we do that, though, I need to recognize a few people that have been very generous to this club. They're members of what is called the Jeremiah Milbank Society. Jeremiah Milbank Society is a nationwide society that honors individuals and couples who contribute $10,000 or more to their local Boys and Girls Club. And our club is blessed to have several Jeremiah Milbank Society members here. And I want to recognize them. I'll ask all of you to stand. And it says hold your applause to the end, but let's don't do that. Let's just applaud for them as I introduce them. But I want to ask you to stand and let us recognize you for your contributions to the club. Mr. and Miss Bob and Ann Baisden. Mr. and Miss Don and Eva James Crichton. Mr. and Miss Andy and Jan Marshall. And Dr. and Mrs. Eastlick and Annie Daniel. Oh, they're right here. Thank you guys for your support. There are a few more individuals that prefer to remain anonymous. Thank you for your support of our kids. 70% of our kids that come through the club receive some sort of financial assistance or get full scholarship to participate in the club. So your donation to the club allows that to happen. 2 years ago, my wife and I became supporters of the club financially because somebody invited me to one of these luncheons, and I heard these inspiring stories and thought, I want to invest in that and I want to support that. So there's some envelopes on the tables. If you have not given yet, I know many of you have already given, but if you have not given yet, I'd ask you to please consider doing so now. And as you're doing that, we're going to call Miss Omari Thomas up, and she's going to close us out with song.
Go there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. Beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Of course I know it. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Did I ever tell you you're my hero? You're everything, everything I wish I could be. Oh, and I could fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. 'Cause you are the wind beneath my wings.
Friends, this concludes our program. If you did fill out a pledge card, please ensure that those are on your table and a staff member will be around to pick that up. Thank you so much for supporting our efforts here with the Boys and Girls Club of making students in Maury County take flight. Thank you guys so much for a great program.